Oh hi. Liverpool, the city in Great Britain in the county of Merseyside, port on the northwest coast of England in the mouth of the Mersey River. The population minus 441,477 people. 2002. The fifth largest city of Great Britain. And the third in England. The population of the Liverpool agglomeration exceeds card inhabitants. Throughout the second half of the 20th century, Liverpool had glory of the depressive city. From the 1930s prior to the beginning of the odd years, his population was cut almost by half. In 1170, the settlement under the name Liverpool is for the first time mentioned that the muddy reservoir means. Some researchers give Liverpool reservoir with eels option as a primordial toponym. In 1207, the King Ioan Besmelny issued the diploma according to which Liverpool received the status of borough. In the shadow of the Liverpool lock, the transportation of the English troops to Ireland was carried out. In the middle of the 16th century, Liverpool remained very insignificant settlement with 500 inhabitants. In the 17th century, there was a slow progress in the sphere of trade and growth of population. During civil war in 1644, the lock underwent an 18-day siege. The value of Liverpool as port on the western coast began to grow in the 18th century, with growth of a transatlantic slave trade and economic development of the American colonies. In 1715, England's first open port dock was built here. Throughout the 19th century, Liverpool, as well as Manchester, served as a leader of industrial revolution. Many features of development usual for all countries and continents, Liverpool tested the first. By the beginning of the 19th century, through Liverpool there passed about 40% of global trade traffic. In 1831, the Bank of Liverpool opened. Within the 1840th years, the population grew in high gear, especially when the Irish immigrants began to arrive. By 1851, about 25% of the population of the city were the Irish origin. At the end of 19th and the beginning of the 20th centuries, Liverpool accepted many immigrants from the different countries of Europe. It was reflected available the various religious buildings located on all city, many of which are used in today. I received the status of the city of Liverpool in 1880. He continued to develop dynamically prior to World War II. Liverpool was also one of the main centers of shipbuilding of the British Empire. To the Liverpool port, the notorious super steamship, Titanic, and many other transatlantic liners was attributed. In the 1960th years, Liverpool becomes one of the most popular centers of youth culture. The Beatles group became the best-known cultural phenomenon which was born here. The local population speaks a characteristic dialect. Sites. UNESCO I recognized. 2004-2021. Monuments of the World Heritage Ensemble of office buildings of the Liverpool port. The main frame of buildings was built at the beginning of the 20th century, in government of the King Edward VII, as stylization and of Christopher Wren's manor. Due to the active building in the downtown. On the project of construction of Liverpool Waters. The decision to include this monument in the list of the World Heritage Sites which are under the threat of destruction was adopted at the 36th session of Committee of the World Heritage of UNESCO. In July 2021 at the 44th session of Committee of the World Heritage of UNESCO in the Chinese Fuzhou, 13 members of the committee voted for an exception of Liverpool of the World Heritage List, Mainz 5. By dissolution of a majority of votes and object, Liverpool, the city of seamen and dealers, is excluded from the World Heritage List in connection with irreversible loss of the characteristics indicating outstanding value. It is the third case from the moment of adoption of the Convention on Protection of the World Cultural and Natural Heritage, 1972. Earlier the status was lost the Valley of Elbe near Dresden, Germany, and Wildlife Reserve of the Arabian Antelope, Oman. From other monuments of Liverpool the following is of interest. Liverpool Town Hall, 1754-1802, architect John Wood. St. George's Hall, 1841-1854. The grandiose public building of the Victorian era in neoclassical style. The Column of Wellington, 1861-1865. Is erected in memory of a victory of British at Waterloo. The Liverpool Anglican Cathedral, in neo-Gothic style, the 20th century. The Liverpool Catholic Cathedral, modernism. The 1960th years. Supralembanana, a monument, Bananyanyanyanyanka. Monument to Nelson, 1813. Royal Liver Building, 1908-1911. Office building around per head of N. As the first, the highest A class. Exclusive interest. In the British list of buildings of architectural or historical interest. Listed building. Is a part of the quarter the Liverpool port entered by UNESCO in the World Heritage List. The highest building of Europe from 1911 to 1932, the highest building of Great Britain from 1911 to 1961, the highest building of the City N from 1911 to 1965. One of the first high-rise buildings in the world built of reinforced concrete. In Liverpool it is possible to visit several museums. Museum of Liverpool. Liverpool branch of Tate Gallery. Museum of History of the World. Gallery Volker. Museum of Slavery. Museum of the Liverpool Life. Museum the Beatles. Maritime Museum. The main transport hubs are the airport, the railway station and port. The airport of John Lennon is in 12 km to the southeast from the downtown. The passenger turnover in 2007 made nearly 5.5 million people. It is connected with Liverpool and other cities' bus traffic. Also near the airport there is a railway station, Liverpool Souls Parkview, which it is also possible to reach by bus. With Manchester, Liverpool is connected by the railroad Liverpool, Manchester, one of the first in Europe. The first railway station of Liverpool, Lime Street, opened in August 1836. The passenger turnover in 2005/2006 made more than 14.5 million people. The Liverpool port is also a very important transport hub of the city. In 2004, more than 700,000 people used his services, more than 616,000 containers and 32 million tons of freight were transported. In a year, the Liverpool port passes about 150,000 ships. In the city, bus traffic is widely developed. The taxi is very widespread. In Liverpool, the system of the suburban and city subway Merseyrail works. In Liverpool, two famous professional soccer teams acting in the English Premier League are based. Everton is founded in 1878, is based on the Goodison Park Stadium accommodating people. Liverpool is founded in 1892, is based on the Enfield Stadium accommodating persons. Football clubs from Liverpool totally became champions of England the bigger number of times, 28, than clubs from any other city of the country. From basketball teams of the strongest Mersey Tigers it is created in 2007. Near the city, in true route on which jumps are carried out is located. Also in the city there are several rugby teams. Twin Cities. United States of America, Birmingham, Alabama. Germany, Cologne. Ireland, Dublin. China, Shanghai. Brazil of Rio de Janeiro. Indonesia, Medan. Malaysia, Penang. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.